Okay, all right. I think it's finally up. Right. Sorry for the delay. There was something not right with the meeting. The recording won't begin, so forgive the delay. So I think somebody might have been logged out because the recording was malfunctioning. So that person can join back. Anyway, so okay, we'll start then. We have been discussing what we call as parts of speech in English language teaching or linguistics. But we're going to be mostly focused on the articles part now, right? So until now, we have, I think, discussed adjectives and adverbs. We've also looked at prepositions in the last class. Okay. If you're not able to hear me well, just let me know. Okay, I can adjust my volume on this end. But is this clear enough for you? Can you hear well?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. So, um, yeah. So, like I was saying, we've already discussed a few things. We've already looked at, I think, three of them majorly. One would be adverb, the other would be adjectives, and we also discussed prepositions in the last class, right? So today we are going to look at articles, right? These are not very difficult, but then they have major roles to play in how you can learn the structuring part of the language, right? So everything that we're going to discuss, at least for the English one, right? This course, we are more concerned with how to introduce you to the basic structures in the language. So some of it could be familiar to a lot of you. Some of you might be hearing these things for the or in this way for the first time. You probably have already heard about them. Not probably, a lot of us have already learned these things back in our schools, but our approach to how to learn these things could be different, right? So we are trying to keep it more functional in approach so that you don't have to by heart rules, right? That's not how it should happen. No learning should happen in that, right? So that's one thing. And articles, if I have to begin with, just don't look at the uh, worksheet at this point. We'll anyway be coming back to it. But before we start the questions, I need at least first 5-10 minutes talking about what functions do articles actually have in English, right? Because this is not something that is available in our languages. We might have segments that behave like articles, but they are not exactly like the English articles, right? They don't act like that. You do not have an a or an or the in your language that you can point out. Most of our languages spoken in our subcontinent, right? Some may, but ours don't have for sure, right? So I think maybe 5 minutes of discussion on that should help us to understand what exactly this does in English, right? Um, two things. Mostly you use articles in English for two things, right? So one is their job is to tell you, again, like adjectives or like, mostly adjectives or any other descriptive words. They mostly tell you about how, something about the noun. Okay. Uh, they tell you some details about the noun. Prepositions also were doing the same task, right? Preposition was also telling you the relation of a noun with respect to the other, right? And that relation could be based on the position of a noun to the other, of a direction of the noun to the other, or the time or place of the noun to another one. Now, by noun, I also mean pronoun, okay? A noun or pronoun. Whenever I say noun, which means I'm also talking about pronoun. Or if you were talking about adjectives, then they were mostly descriptive words trying to tell you which, where, when, what about nouns, right? Giving you more description about that. So articles also, in that sense, they are connected to nouns, right, or pronouns. They tell you certain other details about the noun and the pronoun. So in that, the first thing is specificity, right? Or what is also known as definiteness. So it tells you whether a given noun is a definite noun or a specific noun, or is it a common noun. If the reference to that noun or a pronoun is common or definite or specific, right? So we'll put them under one category, specificity or definiteness. Like I use both these words because if you are someone who's reading upon these things over internet or maybe on a textbook, right, in a textbook, then the authors might use different words. Some of them prefer using the word specificity or specific. Some might prefer using the word definite or indefinite, right? Indefinite and definite is something I think we are more used to. Maybe in schools we were told that. But newer books might use this word as well, specificity, right? Now, what is this, right? A lot of the property of the articles depend on this particular thing, specificity. It tells you whether the given noun is definite or specific. I prefer using the word specific over definite, okay? Because definiteness is something that is more related to time in the larger literature. So if you're referring to a specific noun or a pronoun, then you use a certain kind of article before it to show that you're talking about a specific thing, right? Um, Whereas if not, then you use again another article to show that you are not talking about a specific thing, right? So for both, to show both specificity and non-specificity, you have articles, right? Which one do you use for specificity? We're talking about a specific thing, you use the article the, right? So when I say the book, I am referring to a specific book, right? It's not any book that I'm talking about. I want you to get me the book on the table, right? So I'm saying, get me the book that is on the table, on a specific table. Okay, on the book, on the table. Okay. But if I do not have that the use, then it could be anything, right? You are at your discretion. You can get any book from somewhere and give it to me, and tell me that. But you did not specify. You just said book, so I just got you one that I laid my hand on, right? So, specificity as a property in English language associated with nouns are very, very important, right? It's a part of that language's structure. So, the is specific, and obviously the other two, which are or a, whatever people call it as, right? A and an, they are non-specific, okay, which is also referred to as in common literature indefinite articles, right? This much should be clear to you, right? Any confusions here? I hope I do not have to talk to you about the difference, where you use a and, right? That is, it's not a big thing. That difference is only based on the following sound, right? Whether the following sound is a consonant or a vowel. If it's a vowel, it's an. If not, it's an a, right? Or a, as you want to refer it to. That is not a very important distinction as far as the concept of article is concerned. Of course, by rule, you might have to use it. But more important is you understand the concept of specificity. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now, if that's the case, it sounds very simple, but then sometimes you run into trouble, not because you do not understand the concept of articles, because this is all. You don't have to know anything more about articles. This is all they're used for. They're also, in a sense, describing words, but what do they describe? They describe the specificity of the noun or pronoun, right? That's it. It's a very special kind of, if you want to, you might want to look at them as a special kind of adjective. Okay, so unlike the other adjectives, this give you the information which tells you whether the given noun or pronoun is a specific one or not. Okay, whether the reference is specific or not. But some other concepts, some other properties of the nouns, right, can give us a few confusion. And in that, the first one is the nature of the nouns based on their countability, right? So a lot of things would flow from there. So based on countability, you have two types of noun. You have the countable nouns, right? And you have the uncountable nouns, right? So depending on whether the given noun is a countable or an uncountable noun, there can be changes. There can be specifications in the way you use the articles, right? So let's look at a few examples to clarify that thing, right? Uh, Countable nouns, let's say pens, uh, tomatoes, or pears, right? Uh, Currency, right? What are they? These are all countable. Can I say one pen, two tomatoes, three chairs, four notes of currency? Can I say that? It's possible, right? I can count it. I can physically count them. I know I can count them as separable units, as different units, right? So such kind of nouns are all called countable nouns. Now, something that you cannot count, right? We know water, right? Water is a noun, but you cannot count it, right? It's difficult to count water. Money. So currency is countable, but money is not countable. You cannot, you can say someone has a lot of money. You cannot say someone has one money, two money, three money, right? So not physically separable and countable, right? Every unit of it is not. We call them uncountable because unit wise countability is not possible with that kind of noun. Or you say sugar, right? Uh, what else do I say? I say team, something like team, right? These are what? They're uncountable. Okay. Uh, I can say members of the team. So members of a team are countable, but the team by itself is not countable, right? It's a whole, it's a collective noun. You cannot count it. So collective nouns then is another kind of noun which can have this property of uncountability. I cannot count them. I can only see it as a whole, right? But members in the team, if my reference is to members of the team, that is countable. But if I just say team is not countable, right? Simple concept again. Some of them could cause us confusion because some words probably to us looks like a countable thing, but in actuality, by the conventions of its use in the speech community that uses English as their language, it is not. Okay. So this is the concept of countability and uncountability. So now let's look at articles then, right? So if I cannot count something, does it make sense for me to say, for example, say, can I say a water or a money? I'm not able to count it. So I can say a mango, right? I can say two mangoes, right? But if I say a money, can I say two money? A mango means what? What are the two? One thing is two. What are the two explanations that you can give for the phrase a mango? At least two. There could be more, but what are the what meanings can you give me when I say a mango? What do you understand when someone says a mango? That there is one mango, right? One reading is that there is one mango, and second thing is that I'm talking about a non-specific mango. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. So a mango, when I say a mango, it gives me at least two readings, two important readings. One is that I'm talking about a unit mango. I'm talking about a single piece of mango. And can also tell me additionally that I'm talking about some, very non-specific thing. This is not a specific mango that is in question, right? But same thing can I apply to say a word like money? First of all, I cannot say a money and two money, one money, two money, right? And that reading becomes entirely wrong for me. So something that I can do with mango, that is get the count of the mango as a single mango and also non-specific mango, is not possible with an uncountable noun like money, right? So a or an is not something that you can use with countable nouns at all, right? Uncountable nouns, right? Uncountable nouns can only take, if at all it is taking any article with it, the only possible article is the definite article or the specific article, the. Okay. Okay. Any questions here?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, right. So the reason being you cannot do that, right? If it is not countable, then a and an is out of question. A and an can only be used with countable nouns and countable nouns that are non-specific. Okay. Uncountable, if your noun in question is uncountable, right? Then it can only use the specific article the with it, right? It cannot use anything else. Okay. This much is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Now we're moving on to certain conventions, and that I'm not going to discuss with you right away because I think we have some questions in the worksheet. So, as and when we look at those questions, I'll introduce you to certain concepts in English or the way English speakers use it that tells us that you cannot, that a certain kind of articles are the only ones that are considered grammatical with them. Okay. So, like I spoke in the case of prepositions, right? I don't know how many of you were in the last class, but if you weren't there, then just for the sake of, the ones who have missed it out, we spoke about the concept of collocation, right? How many of you are there in the last class? Is there anyone
Ma'am,
who's
I was
from the last?
present last class.
Sorry,
Ma'am, in last class I was present.
you were present. Okay. So, we discussed the concept of second. Yeah, we discussed the concept of collocation. I've left uh, the ordinarily possible definition of collocation in the chat, right? Which is frequently co-occurring pair of words. And in the context of preposition, we discussed a few examples. Those examples were, I'll just give you one. I do not remember all of them. So prepositions like between, right? Sometimes they are chosen already collocationally. So differentiate between. You do not, the most commonly used preposition that follows the word differentiate is differentiate between or capable of or relevant to, right? We call them collocation because these pair of words, they frequently co-occur, right? I mean, I'm not going to get into the discussion because we had a fair enough discussion in the last class. Anyone who's willing to know about it, you please watch those recorded sessions, right? So this collocation, this is also possible in the case of articles, right? And what was it I said? Collocation is a more advanced area of language learning because it involves a lot of things which are not grammatically determined, right? Grammar or the rules of the structure of a language do not determine which two pair of words should come together in a collocation. It is very conventionally decided, right? The speakers of the community, they use it a certain way. We use them the way it is used in English language because the speakers of English, the actual ones who use it in their day-to-day life, in their speech community, they use it conventionally like that, right? So this use is more by convention. It is not grammatically determined, right? Grammar has got nothing to do with it. The rules are not the one that you use to understand and learn this segment of the language. All collocations are usually mostly conventionally decided, right? They're used a certain way. The speech community uses it a certain way. So this kind of collocational effects you can also see in articles. Like for example, somebody would tell you that you do not use the before the names of countries, right? So if I say um, India is a country with, you know, uh, uh, India is a country with ancient heritage and culture, right? Or it's a country of older civilizations and ancient culture and heritage. If I say a statement like that, I'm only saying India. I cannot say the India is a country with older civilizations of the world and varied culture and heritage, right? However, if I have to change the name of the country, the same sentence, if I'm going to use in the context of, say, a country like Netherlands, then I'm going to say the Netherlands is a country with older civilizations and rich and varied heritage or culture, right? The reason being, we do not know what is the reason, right? The only reason that is given to us is that, oh, Netherlands sounds like a group of countries, right? Or group of states that's put together. Whereas India is like a single unit. The same thing applies to countries like, say, the United States of America or the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, right? So when the name of a country gives you an idea that this is basically a conglomeration, right? An association of different states or counties or provinces put together, the English speakers by convention use a the before the name of the country, right? So it's the USA. But when you say America, you simply say America. You don't say the America, right? So that thing may not exist for countries which have single names, right? India or China or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka. We don't say the Sri Lanka. We don't say the Bangladesh. We don't say the Germany, right? It's always the name of the country. Now, people can always ask, but why? Why are we not doing that in others? In our case, answer is this: the straightaway or the straightforward answers that have been given is that
because this is not, there is no, the name doesn't suggest that it's a group of states, right? Although in reality, most of the countries are those, right? But the name, the nomenclature doesn't suggest that way. So we are not using other. It's not a very sound answer, right? I agree that it may not be an answer with much merit, but then it's used by convention like that, right? So that's the reason some of these things happen in, grammar, right? Particularly with topics like articles and prepositions, because of this collocational presence, because of this conventional use of language, some of them may not fit the exact grammatical rules, right? Quote unquote rules. Some of them are just learned through convention. So in articles also, you're going to find some of these things. So one example is the name of, country. Another thing could be the name of language. So I speak Hindi or I speak Malayalam. I don't speak the Malayalam or I don't speak the Tamil. I speak only I only speak Tamil. Okay. Or if you're referring to someone's nationality, he's Japanese, right? You're saying he's the Japanese. But if you're talking about the Japanese as a whole, right? Say you're talking about the characteristic of a Japanese person, right? You're referring to something that you think is a common feature that happens to people who are Japanese. Then you can say the Japanese, uh, prefer to have ramen over rice, right? That is all right, but not when I'm referring to that person's nationality as such. When I'm referring to nationality, it is just Japanese, right? When I'm talking about a characteristic trait that is probably considered something that all of the Japanese people possess, then I use the, right? Some of these things, then our point is, some of these things are learned purely by convention, right? Do not look for rule. Do not see in grammar the answers for why I use the here and why I'm not using a the here or a here, right? Yeah, that's all. Is that point understood? We can take it further if that much is fine. Because as a theory or as a description, article doesn't have anything more to do with nouns rather than telling whether it's specific or non-specific. Okay. Rest of the things are all dependent on also, countability in the case of countable nouns. Okay. Rest of the things I think we can learn as you look at the question. Is this much clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Any questions? Anything that you have faced while you were learning or solving some questions? If you have anything, you may raise it now. But I think I can go to the worksheet now. There are two kinds of questions that I have included for you. So the first set of exercise, they all contain standalone sentences. Okay, which means you are not given much of a context. So there could be cases where multiple answers look all right. But the second part of the worksheet, the second exercise that I've put together, these are paragraph questions. Um, I know you need to also know the rules of using articles, but I am more interested in taking you through the second part because this is what is language use in real life will look like, right? Because no one speaks barely standalone sentences. Usually, you give a contextual speech or you write something that's more contextually oriented. Definitely more than two or three sentences, right? It's not always one sentence alone that you speak. So the second exercise will walk you through how the use of articles pan out in the actual real life conversations in English, or whether it's a written or a spoken thing that you're doing with it, whether it's spoken or written for you, how realistically do articles work is something that I think you can learn by looking at these questions, the second one. So we'll get to that. But before that, I think just to warm up, right, the concept, maybe we can look at the first exercise. So I'm not going to interfere much into this. I hope you will answer these questions for me, right? Instead of me explaining everything. But if there is some intervention required somewhere, of course, I'll let you know. Okay, can you begin with this? The first question, I want dash apple from that basket.
And
The apple.
An apple.
I I want an apple from that basket. Okay, that is right. Then there was an answer, I want the apple from that basket. That's also right. Right. So if you're referring to a specific apple, then you can say, I want the apple from that basket. Right. That is possible. You can also say, I want an apple from that basket, wherein you're being very non specific. Okay, I want an apple from that basket. So maybe there
But
are other things.
Most appropriate answer will be
There is nothing called most appropriate. You can say an or the. They are both grammatically right. See, when you say the apple from that basket, you're specifically pointing to the apple that's kept in that basket. When you say an apple from that basket, it could have several readings, right? It could mean that there are other things also in the basket, or there
okay.
are only apples, but you're only referring to just any apple. Okay, not anything specific.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
The meanings change a little bit, but grammatically they don't. Which is why I told you the standalone sentences, they can have multiple answers sometimes, right? If they're capable of giving you multiple meanings, then answers are possible. So they don't teach you much in sense of how articles can be used unless you're able to derive these meanings on their own. Paragraphs help you better to know that. Okay. So yeah, both answers go an and the. Yeah. Okay. Now second one,
the,
dash church on
The
the corner. Now, this is a case where you cannot have multiple answers. There can only be one answer. Yeah, right?
The
The church
the
on the corner because
Earth.
it's already specified which one on the corner. So you can't say a church on the corner. On the corner, you can only have one. So the church on the corner is progressive. Okay. Miss Lin speaks dash Chinese.
no
the,
article.
Article.
No article. No article. So you don't use any article before the name of a language, right? Miss Lin speaks Chinese, not a Chinese or the Chinese. Fourth one, I borrowed dash pencil from your pile of pencils and pens.
A
A
pencil.
pencil.
A pencil. Now, here, can you say I borrowed the pencil from your pile of pencils and pens? Not really,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
Because how? Explain.
If we are referring to a specific pencil,
But you look at the context, no? It tells you, I borrowed pencil from your pile of pencils and pens. Every time that reading is not
oh,
possible. So there's a
okay,
pile
ma'am.
of pencils and pens, and I've borrowed one from that. The intended meaning is that I've got one from that pile, right? So
Okay,
instead of saying one, the other word you can use in English to refer to one is a. Okay. So I could either say I borrowed one pencil or I could say I borrowed a pencil. Same thing, right? Okay. So fifth one of the students said, dash professor is late today.
The professor.
the professor.
The professor.
One of the students said, the professor is late today. Okay. If the people know which professor they are referring to. Okay. Otherwise, you can also simply say, professor is late today. If you're talking about a non-specific person, then you simply say, professor is late today also. That's also possible. Okay. All right. Sixth one, Ailey likes to play dash volleyball. Yeah, some of these
Play the
questions are
football.
important.
No
No
article.
Ailey
article.
likes no article. Yeah. Names of games, sports, right? Do not take any article before them. Ailey likes to play volleyball. Ailey likes to play cricket. Ailey likes to play tennis. Ailey likes to play football. Whatever you change the name of the sports, it's not going to take any article. Again, conventional use. No articles are used before the name of sports or game. But if I say Ailey likes to play, uh, second. Ailey likes to play. Then, if I replace volleyball with game of chess,
The
Ailey,
game of chess.
Ailey likes to play the game of chess. Okay, but more importantly, game is what? Game, I know we don't say game, right? Game is not something that you use commonly. Usually you say games. So it is countable. My point is that you can also, this is a word that is countable. If a word is countable, then you have to check whether you can use an article or not. Can I play 2 games of chess with someone?
No.
No,
Two games of chess, can I not play with
No.
someone? So I played it once and then I play it again and I say I'll play 2 games of
Okay.
chess with you. You can,
Okay.
you
Okay.
can, you can play. Okay. So When I say I want to play a game of chess, I basically I'm trying to say that I want to play one round of it, right? One round. Usually the words that we use in Indian English is one round of game and all that. But then in the actual English usage, people do say 2 games chess with you. Okay. So this is a countable thing. The moment you add the word game of, then it becomes a countable entity, right? This is similar to the collective noun. I told you team is considered uncountable. But then when you say members of the team, they are countable. Similarly here, chess on its own may not be considered a countable thing or something that requires an article. But when I say game of chess, it has now been converted into something that I can count, right? So if you have a game, the word game there, game of something, then you say a game of chess. So Eli likes to play a game of chess, right? But with, certain other sports, you usually don't use this, right? With, say, for example, in cricket or in volleyball or, basketball, usually sports that you take longer time to finish, you may not use this, right? Something that maybe, runs for hours together, you probably can't do multiple rounds, right? Or it doesn't happen in one go also. But chess, board games, right? Something of this sort, you can go multiple rounds. So this is also a little, how do I put it? Some of this is also based on your um, the practical ways in which these things are done, right? So all of last time I told you that some of the things are based on sensory understandings. If you have attended the classes last week, right? So some of this also is based on your sense, right? Sensory understanding of things. So cricket, of course, I cannot have 2 3 rounds in one day. It's a longer a sports that takes longer duration to finish. But chess, board games, some other smaller kind of activities, sports activities, you can go multiple rounds. It is by they're treated as countable entities. Okay. Very subtle differences, but something that counts, right? Nobody tells us this. If you ask English speakers, hey, why do you use A here and not, with volleyball? They'll not have an answer because they're speakers of that language. So these are explanations that, non-native speakers have tried to derive to make sense of why something is used here. Say why the is used here or a is used here. So try to understand it along that line. Okay. So these are not tricks that we have hidden in language. So something that we try to figure out to make our lives easier. Okay. Right. 7. I bought dash umbrella to go out in the rain.
An umbrella.
An umbrella.
An umbrella. This is the easiest thing that an umbrella to go out in the rain. Okay. Next one is also important. My daughter is learning to play dash violin at her school.
No article.
Okay. Any other answers? So for you, here you have to use the definite article the. Name of the musical instruments will carry a the with it, right? My daughter is learning to play the violin at her school. My daughter is learning to play the piano at her school, right? Most of the musical instruments, they carry the definite article the before them. Again, by convention, right? Ask me a reason, I do not have any, right? To play the violin at her school. These are some cases which can throw the grammatical rules into the bin. But well, this is how the conventional use happens, right? So any musical instrument, you'll use the keyboard, the piano, the violin, the guitar, whatever it is, it's the needs to be preceded by the. Right. Ninth one, please give me dash cake that is on the counter.
The cake.
The cake that is on the counter, right? Specific one on the counter. So the cake that is on the counter. 10th one, I lived on dash main street when I first came to town.
The main street.
Okay. Can you say the main street or can you simply leave it as I live on main street when I first came to town? Tell me. Think about it and tell me, okay? Do not rush with it.
We can
You
we
can
can
use
leave.
what? We can leave. Okay. So if I'm leaving out, do you think there's a reason or do you think again this is by convention? Some of them may have reason, some of them
Um, as convention.
By
I don't
convention.
think
You
so.
think by convention we do not use uh, any
We can
article?
use both.
We,
Specifically describing about the main street.
what? So do we use or do we not use because of that?
Specifically, with we use the. I lived
Yeah,
on the main street.
Okay, street names usually we can say specifically like I lived on the main street when I first came to town, right? You're referring to a particular place, so you can use the article the here. I lived on Main Street. I lived on the main street when I first came to town. Okay. Mm, how about roads? If instead of Main Street I had something else, like say what King's Road or something, King's Road, Queen's Road, whatever. Then do I use it? I lived on the King's Road or I lived on King Road? The
on
again,
the
right? You use the there
Mm,
also. Yeah, the, right? Okay, all right. Now, next one. Look at this one. Albany is the capital of Dash, New York State. Do we say the capital of, so let us look at it in this scenario, right? Delhi is the capital of India
No article
or
is
the
there.
India. No article
no
here.
article.
No
No
article.
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 Yeah.
Mm.
So Albany is the capital of New York State, not the New York State. Okay. Or is it? Think about it. India is just one. So I told you that India is just a single name, right? But here they have New York State. There are at least three words in that. Do you think that affects the use? If it does, why? If it does not, why?
if we are referring to a specific state, then maybe.
Hmm. Huh, this is specific only, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Specific only.
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but I think maybe we can use the.
Hmm.
No article.
Hmm. No article. We still do not use any article here because it's the name of a particular state, right? It says New York State, but I can simply skip the state part also. I don't have to use it. Right? I don't have to particularly say New York State. I can simply say New York also. That's also possible. Mhm. Okay. And New York State is different from the New York that you know, right? That's the different.
Ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Fine. So this one will not require any the because you're referring to uh, the name, right? Which does not need it. Now, 12th one, my husband's family speaks dash. This is
No
similar to this.
article.
Yeah,
No
no,
article.
no article. Speaks Polish. That's all. This one, I think we already discussed this. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. That we don't need it. 14th one, dash ink in my pen is red.
The.
The.
The ink.
Right? The ink in my pen is red. Okay. 15th one, our neighbors have dash cat and a dog. Sorry. Second one,
A cat and a dog.
a cat and a dog. Yes. So they have a cat and they have a dog. Any other answers possible here? Can I say the also? Can I say our neighbors have um, a cat and the dog, or maybe the cat and a dog, the cat and the dog? Can I have some combinations here? Or is it only a cat?
I mean, it's not specific, so how we can say the cat or the dog.
Specific, see, that's what I'm saying, that these are standalone sentences. So uh, they may or may not be specific. That we need to, unless the context tells you anything clearly, you're open to answer whatever you want in this, right? So my question is, can you
Okay.
supply something else here and still have a meaning out of it, or is it just one way through a cat and a dog? You're right. That answer is absolutely right. There's nothing wrong with that.
When we referring to about a particular
The cat.
cat, then we can say
Hmm,
that the cat or the
hmm.
dog.
All right. Okay.
Ma'am, the cat and the dog.
Okay, the cat and dog. No. Dog has to take an article. The question is between whether a or the. They have a cat and a dog. This is perfect, right? Most appropriate because we are not making any second mention to it. When you make a second mention, you will turn to the for both, right? Or alternatively, if the context is already mentioned, like they already know about which dog is being spoken about, then one of them can take the. But in the first mention, without any context, like you mentioned, it has to be a for both. Okay, a cat and a dog. Okay, because we do not have
Okay.
anything else. They have not given us any other information, right? If we had that, we could have thought about using the specific article. But in this case, you just have a simple sentence without giving you much context. So it's first mention of both the animals. So you use a, okay, a cat and a dog. Then 16th, Robert and Jessica went to dash party last night.
Yeah, party.
A party, right? Nothing specific. It's not telling us anything specific, right? It's just saying some party they went to. So a party last night. Okay. Then, can you tell me how to get to dash cinema from here?
That's
Cinema here
Mm.
refer to the
No
film,
one.
right? It how to get to cinema from here? No. You have to use an article here. And cinema here doesn't refer to the cinema as in film,
that.
right? We are referring to the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's new.
So can it be any theater? Somebody must be asking for something specific, right?
So the is the
So, it's the somebody else was saying something. What is it? Were you saying something? Okay, so this is a specific place. The person is asking directions to a specific place. You cannot you cannot be non-specific when asking for direction. That is the point. The logic we are using here to use the word the before cinema is that if someone's asking you for a direction, it has to be specific. It cannot be non-specific. You cannot ask to show me direction to some theater. You have to be more specific about it, right? So given that context, contextually, we say that this has to be the cinema, not a cinema. Okay. Also, the case that we are not talking about films here, so we are referring to an entity that is non-countable. We cannot count it. So automatically, then the preferred article is the. Two reasons. One is that we are talking about a specific place because direction cannot be non-specific. Second thing is that this is also an uncountable noun. So we have to use the definite article. The. Okay, that's the reason. Now, the 18th one, college is closed today.
The
The
college.
college.
That.
And
The college is closed today. Yeah. And if you're talking about a situation where, many are closed, then we have to turn this into a plural, right? Colleges are closed today. But since our entity is singular here, it can only take the, not a here, because a college is closed today is a wrong construction, right? Specific college can only be closed. So the college is closed today. 19, Gregory is one of dash strangest people I know.
The.
The
That one.
strangest.
Because
that
very
thing.
specific, right? Superlative forms always take the along with them. Very specific. The strangest. I recommend you try dash tomato soup at this restaurant. I recommend you try
That
dash
tomatoes.
tomato soup at this
The
restaurant.
tomatoes.
Yeah,
What
And
matter?
the
the
so as Indians, we will be tempted to skip it. We will say because we do not use it in our languages, right? We would simply say try tomato soup. For us, more suitable is that. But when English speakers use it, they have to use the along with everything else. Okay, because that is what adds more specificity to what they are saying. All right. 21st one dash beer is not good for you.
The beer.
Do we have to
A, B.
No article.
about it?
It's not.
No article.
It's not.
No, we do
No
not
article.
need it. There's nothing specific about it. It's the name of that drink. So beer is not good for you. It's enough. Okay. I am not sure if you're covering the paragraph part today. It's all right. Or maybe we might not do all the three of them. We might have to spill it over a bit to the next class, but that's all right. We'll try and cover as much as possible. Then, would you like to see dash film?
Film.
Ah,
A film.
ah.
Okay. Or can I also say the film?
Yes, when we
Yes.
refer to a specific film.
When you
Ma'am,
refer, tell me.
in a paragraph, but in a standalone, I don't think we can use the.
In a standalone, you don't think you can use? Well,
Ma'am, in a
would you like to
paragraph,
see
we
the
can.
film? In a paragraph, you think you can, but here you cannot.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you're
Yes, ma'am.
saying? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah, how about others? What do others think?
I mean, if we write a sentence before it,
Hmm.
referring to a particular film, then we can use the.
Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. So if you have decided on what you have watched, what you're watching already, then you can refer to it as the film, right? You can say, would you like to see the film, right? But if it is anything between, you don't have any particular choice, then you can also use a here, right? And the. This case is a little different because you're asking a question. This is not like a declarative sentence, right? So a question you usually comes without a context. So in that case, you always have a follow up to ask, okay, which movie or is it this movie? So questions work a little differently than the other kind of sentences. So you may want to use a or the depending on whether you know the name of the specific film or you are just referring to a random non-specific one. So A and the, I think both can go there, right? It's a very commonly seen usage in English. Would you like to see the film? Or would you like to see a film? Right? Both are right. Why is this Apple question repeating again? Okay, 24th one. I can't believe I failed Dash yesterday's test.
No article.
No article. Not required, right? We really do not need anything there. I can't believe I failed yesterday's test. You do not need to specify it any further. It's already specified. Then 25, do you have Dash dictionary that I can borrow?
A dictionary.
Dictionary.
Ah,
Do you have a dictionary? Yeah, do you have a dictionary that I can borrow? Yes, correct. That's right. Then next one.
Ma'am, in
This is an
24th,
important question. Which one?
in the 24th, we cannot use the because we are talking about a specific test, which
That
was
is
in.
already specified. No, it's already specified. I failed the yesterday's test is not required. You have already specifying it as yesterday's test.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. 26th one.
No article.
Because name,
Uh,
doll mark, it's like name
it's
of
a
the doll.
name, but then what is it? Is it like a name? Like is it a proper name? Or is it like a name of the breed or what is it?
It's a
It's the
name
name
of
of the breed.
It's a name of a breed.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Yeah.
X man.
So then referring to a kind, right? Like how we say the, I mean, sorry. Yeah, basically referring to a kind, right? A type. Do you use the or do you not need any article? What's your conclusion? There were many dogs in the park. Okay. So that means we are not being random. And then one dog was dash.
We don't need
Think a
any
little
article.
bit and answer. Think and see what fits there. Because here already a kind of context is given to you in the form of the sentence that goes before it, right?
we don't need it.
The Dalmatian.
Uh-huh. The Dalmatian. So whatever your answers are, you need to tell me the reason for that as well.
Ma'am, because it's a specific breed, and since there's only
Mhm.
one
Mm.
dog which is of that breed, maybe we can use the.
Yes, correct. So reason being, we are only talking about one among that kind, right? Even though it can give you like a feeling that now we are talking about something that's specific. Remember that this name is not of a dog. This name is of a breed of dog. So it could be any among that, right? So there were many dogs in the park. One dog was a Dalmatian. Got it? Not the Dalmatian. Because we are not referring to a specific dog. We're talking about one among the class of Dalmatians. So this has to be A. One dog was a Dalmatian. Okay. So sometimes you may get questions like this as well. So please be a little careful about it, right? So is this a name that I'm getting, or is this the name of a class or a kind that I'm being given? Okay. If that is the case, if you're able to recognize it as the name of a class, then be a little careful before you use the article the. Okay. Okay. Then comes next one. Yeah, all of these questions are good for you to understand this class names and otherwise. Pandas and tigers are both endangered animals.
No articles.
No
No
articles. No articles required. Okay. We're not talking about anything specific. Talking about the class as a whole. So pandas and tigers are both endangered animals. And here we do not use A because we have plurals, right? We're saying pandas and tigers. That's why. 28th one, Magda is wearing dash blue dress with red shoes.
A blue dress.
Blue.
A blue dress with red shoes. A blue dress because we don't have any context to make it specific. A blue dress with red shoes. Bornholm is dash island in the Baltic Sea.
An island.
The
An
at-
island.
an island.
Why would you use the there?
Sorry.
Unnecessary.
Sorry.
We don't need it. No, don't be sorry. It's all right. Just understand why you cannot use it, okay? Because we're not making anything specific there. This is just an ordinary island, right? Uh, so Bonhomme is an island in the Baltic. One of the islands. That is the reference. The islands are a group, you know that, right? Not a single
Okay.
entity. Yeah.
Got
So
it.
Bornholm is one of that in the Baltic Sea. There could be others also.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Then 30. Christmas comes once dash year.
Once in a year.
Hey,
Once a year.
No, once a year. Once a year. Okay, so which means you're directly saying that we are counting it as something that happened once in the whole year. Okay. All right. We have about 4 more minutes. Let me try to do at least the first two so that you can go back and work on the last one on your own. Okay. Or I'll do one thing, I'll do the smaller one so that the second one you can work on your own. I'll do the first one and then I'll go to the last one. Okay. Okay. So now this write the following paragraphs inserting a, and the where needed. So we are now getting into the paragraph, which means you're going to get sentences where you will see things again, right? It's not a one mention thing. You might see a second mention of the same thing. And whenever you have a second mention of something, you're going to use the definite article because now you're familiar with it. Understand? Okay, let's start with this. And some more context wherein maybe, use of articles are permitted or not permitted. We'll look at that as well. So, I have horse of my own.
Yeah, horse.
I have a horse, right? Countable entity. You need to supply an article. I have a horse of my own. I call her pretty girl.
a pretty girl.
No
No,
article.
no,
No, no
no,
article.
no article. Pretty girl is basically its name, right? It's not anything else. I call her pretty girl. She is intelligent animal, but she is not thoroughbred horse.
Is an
He is
intelligent,
an
intelligent animal.
Intelligent.
intelligent.
An intelligent. She is an intelligent animal, but she is not a thoroughbred horse, right? Not a thoroughbred horse. So articles before adjectives compulsory. Just because there's an article, there's an adjective doesn't mean that that is enough. So there is an article, but then there's an adjective, but you also need an article to specify the countability because it's a countable noun. Okay, every time there's a countable noun, you need to supply an article based on whether it's specific or not. Then I could never enter her in race, even if I wanted to.
In a race.
In a race. Yes, I could never enter her in a race even if I wanted to. But I do not want to. Nothing in that, right? We do not have any nouns which can take any articles there. So go to the next sentence. She's companion for my own pleasure. She's companion
She's
for my own pleasure.
a
Ah,
companion.
A
She's a
companion.
companion. Yeah, a companion.
A
She is a companion. Then additive adverbial phrase for my own pleasure, right? That doesn't require anything. I took her swimming day or two ago. I took her swimming
A day or
a day or two ago. I took her swimming a day or two ago. Okay. I think if you can spare another 2-3 minutes, we can do all of them. Let's do the second one also. Okay. Horse knows when he is going to race.
a horse.
A horse knows.
A horse knows when he is going to race. Okay. Correct. How does he know? Doesn't have anything. Third sentence. His breakfast was scanty. His breakfast was scanty.
no
No
article.
idea.
No article, right? Do not say anything before words like breakfast. So his breakfast was candy. He is angry about that. Again, doesn't require any article. He does not have saddle on his back.
Horse saddle.
Horse
A
saddle.
saddle. Yeah, he does not have a saddle on his back. He is being led, not ridden, to grandstand.
The grandstand.
Now, why the grandstand? Question is why the grandstand and not a grandstand?
Because it's a specific place.
It's a specific place in connection to something that is now specific to us, right? We're not talking about a random thing. We are talking about a place that is specific to something that has already gone before it, which is the horse, right? So here we do not say he's being led, not ridden to a grandstand, right? This one will have a specific place there, right? It cannot go to any random place allotted inside. So the place has an inherent specificity to it, which is why you have to show that using the definite article the. Okay, so he's being led, not ridden to the grandstand, not a grandstand. Okay, he's so once you have used it as the, then every time you have it, you are going to repeat the same article, right? You can't change it. So he's led under grandstand into unusual special stall.
Under the grandstand.
Under the grandstand.
Ah,
Into
Under the grandstand into,
An unusual.
yeah,
under
And
correct. An unusual special store. Okay, an unusual special store. Horse is nervous. Horse is nervous.
no article.
Yes.
Horse is
The
nervous.
horse
the
is
No
nervous.
horse
The
article,
is
horse
Judy.
is nervous.
the
Correct. Correct. The horse is nervous. Because we already know, we have already mentioned it once. The horse is nervous. Sometimes he does not know what to do when starting gate flies open and track is before him.
When the starting
When
when the
the,
start.
again, and now everything associated with the grandstand and that race course is specific now, right? Once one thing becomes specific, everything else is going to be specific. Sometimes he does not know what to do when the starting gate flies open and
The track is before.
the track.
The track is
Yeah, the track is before him, and the track is before him. If he does not begin to run instantly, other horses are already ahead of him. Anything here? No.
the
Right.
other horses.
The other horses, no. Because there are many of them, no. So the other horses are already ahead of him. Other horses are already other of him. Sorry, already ahead of him. Okay. Then comes during race when he sees another horse just ahead of him, he will try to pass him.
the race.
During the race.
The race.
During the race, because we already mentioned race before. So during the race, when he sees another horse just ahead of him, he will try to pass him. Anything that side? I don't think, right? That place, nowhere we have an article. Sometimes jockey holds him back to save his energy for last stretch.
The jockey.
The,
Sometimes
the
the jockey holds him back to save his energy for
last.
The last stretch. The last stretch. And eventually, horse gets to run as fast as he can.
The horse.
The horse, yes. Exercise boy watching owner's favorite jockey riding horse. He has exercise day after day. Says nothing.
The
The
exercise.
exercise
Ah,
boy.
correct. The exercise boy watching owner's
Riding the horse.
okay. Exercise boy watching. Uh, you don't need anything before owners there. Sure.
The owner's
No,
favorite.
the owner. The exercise boy watching the owner's favorite jockey riding
The horse.
the horse. The horse he has exercised day after day says nothing. Okay. Then secretly he's planning for day when he will be jockey himself and his horse will be first to cross finish line.
For the
So
day.
secretly
Third day.
he's
Third
planning
day.
for the day, yes, when he will be
The jockey
the
himself.
jockey himself and his horse will
Be the first.
Be the
be
first.
the first to cross finish. Okay, so see how it works in the real life, right? Once specificity sets in, it's constant. Then you never change it to anything else. One thing is specific about that thing. Everything else associated with thing also becomes specific. Then you don't use any because see it is associated to that particular thing, right? So then if you use a, then it looks like you're talking about a different thing, right? So then once you choose specifically for one thing, where you've started using the for a thing, everything associated with it also gets the definite article the. And then you continue every time that appears in the same context in that paragraph, it's always the. Okay. So this is actually how you use articles in real this thing. Okay. I think that should be we'll do one more of this, the last one. There's a last exercise there, third one. It's a very simple kind of an exercise which puts together everything that we have discussed that you can look at on your own. Okay. But we'll do the last one here. Most working people have fewer hours to give to time consuming activities of clubs than they used to have. But most people in small town belong to club or two. Most working people have fewer hours to give to time consuming activities of clubs than they used to have, but most people in small town belong to club or two.
The
The
time.
time consuming activity.
The time consuming. Most working people have fewer hours to give to the time consuming activities of clubs than they used to have, but most people
In a small town.
Belong to the club.
okay, in a small town belong to a club or two.
The
That
club.
is fine. In a small town, because there's nothing specific here. We are mentioning it for the first time. So in a small town belong to a club or two. But I am looking at the time consuming. Most working people have fewer hours to give to. Give to the time consuming activities. Okay. The time consuming activities of clubs because particular reference. Okay. Then if I move to the next sentence, one of clubs is likely to be social and benevolent organization, such as
One of the
Rotary or else.
One of the
Yeah,
clubs.
one of the clubs is likely to be
A social.
a social and benevolent organization, such as Rotary or Elks. So these are the names of the clubs. Okay, Rotary and Elks. There are going to be many Rotary and Elks clubs. Business people are likely to belong also to either Kiwani's Club or Lions. Sorry about the noise, guys. Okay. Business people are likely to belong also to either Kiwani's Club or Lions.
The business.
So the Kiwani's Club or the Lions, right? Because Rotary and Elks are like very common. You can find a lot, many of them everywhere. But this one, these are specific. You don't find many of them. Business people, because it is specific to them, right? business people are likely to belong also to either the Kiwanis Club or the Lions, right? The other ones are ordinary ones. They are all social benevolent organizations. But this is specific to business people, so you are adding the word the Kiwanis Club or the Lions. Such business people's organizations may meet as often as once a week in one of private dining rooms of town's leading hotel for lunch.
The private dining rooms.
One of the private dining rooms of
The towns.
The town's leading.
one of the private dining rooms of the town's leading hotel for lunch. Okay, all right. They have good lunch, hear good program, and continue their fundraising program for worthy organizations such as local hospital. They have good lunch, hear good program, and continue their fundraising program for worthy organizations such as local hospital.
They have a
They have
good lunch.
a good
A
lunch.
good
Yeah,
lunch.
have a good lunch, hear a good program, and continue their fundraising program for
The word. The
a worthy organization. A
A
worthy
worthy.
for a worthy organization such as
A local
a local hospital. Okay, all of them, because not all of them for the first time, non-specific. This is the first time they have mentioned. Next time, if you find them in a sentence in the paragraph, then you can turn to the. Okay, so oscillate between this. Every time you mention it for the first time, it has to be a. Okay, then consequent all the subsequent usage is going to be the, and anything if you have made specific and you are using other things that are associated with the specific noun or pronoun that you have identified, then all things associated with it is also going to become specific, as in the case of the second paragraph. So the horse is specific, so is the grandstand, so is the starting gate, so is the track, so is the jockey, so is the exercise boy, so is the owner. So when it's associated with it, all of them also share the specificity of that specific entity. But otherwise, for the first mention, you always use a, and then all the subsequent usage is going to be the. Okay, based on, of course, other factors like countability, right? If it's countable, try to use a or an, but if it is specific, you continue using the, right? Plurals, again, you continue using the, right? Right. So just make a note of these things of how you use them in paragraph. And this question, I want you to do on your own because they are ordinary. They cover all the things that I discussed with you in the first and the second exercise. Okay, you can use it as they are. Okay, all right. I think that's enough for today. Any questions that you have?
Ma'am, I have a question. Actually, it's regarding the qualifier question. Can I ask?
I think you can keep it for the Wednesday session, right? If it's a doubt on a question, then I think it's better so that everyone can know. More people do join the live session. But what is it about? Is it anything related to what we discussed today?
No, it's about vowel and consonant sequence.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, ask. I'll try and help.
Oh, okay. Actually, there was a question in the qualifier, and I got the answer key today. It was saying which of the given consonant vowel sequences correctly illustrate the consonant cluster in the word expect.
Expect.
Yeah,
Hmm.
EXPECT.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
in the answer key, the correct answer is given VCC, VC, V triple C, V double C,
V triple C,
V double C.
V triple C, V double C, and this is expect, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be V double C, V double C, right?
Says V and then C. Expect. X. Yeah, C, C, C. No, it is right. It's V, C, 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 V, C, C. That's right. You have A, which is the first vowel sound. Then you have K, S, and per, which is CCC. Then comes A again, which is V again, and then K enter at the end, that is CC. It's right. The answer is right.
Okay. So it's based on the sound, not the letters itself, right?
No, nothing is based on the letters. Letters are just a representation. I think that's repeated multiple times in the lecture. You only base everything based on the sounds. Answers have to be based on sounds. Because
Okay.
vowel consonants are what? They are sounds, right? So we're looking at combination of sounds, not the letters.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, no problem. Okay, all right. Anything else? Someone else had some question? I hope it's not from the qualifiers. If they are, I think it's better you raise them in the doubt clearance session for the benefit of the larger community. Is that all? Okay, fine. I'll see you next week again. We'll work on most probably modal verbs and maybe a little bit of phrasal verbs also in the next class. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next week again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.